Hi, I'm Noah Brown from edm310 at the University of South Alabama, and this is my final video reflection. In this reflection, I'm supposed to tell you about the main things I've learned and plan to reflect upon with you and take with me as I continue past this class. One of the major things I've learned from this class is how to time management and how to utilize your time wisely. When you first walk into this class, you hear a lot of stuff about 9 hours. It will take 9 hours a week to finish all your work in this class. To a degree, this is true. I would say some certain weeks it will take you 9 hours or even more to complete all your assignments, but in some weeks you can even count on cutting that in half, especially if you utilize the lab assistants. The lab assistants have had a great deal with me in success in this class, at least, and they can show you shortcuts and ways to do things rather than trying to figure things out yourself. So I'd strongly recommend spending a good 2 hours a week, at least a week in the lab. And I used to consider myself technologically literate before this class as well, but I'm I'm not so sure if I was anymore. I would like to think I was, but after this class, I'm a whole different person on the computer. I used to not even know what a Mac was. When I first opened one up, I couldn't even close down the screen because of the little red dot in the corner. I wasn't even aware why everything was backwards. Using technology correctly has done a great deal to me since I've learned how to do podcasts, Google Docs, Blogger, and all this stuff, mostly using a Mac too. I find it a lot easier using a Mac now. I never would have dreamed that I would completely change my perspective on this before the class started. And using Google Docs, it's just a document you can do all sorts of things like calendar, spreadsheets, and everything. It's like couldn't tell you anything about this before the class. I'm definitely going to be using Google Docs in the future, something I want to take with me. Blogger, as much as I kind of enjoy Blogger, I'm not quite sure. I might end up abandoning it somewhat after the class. I don't know how to use that much of it, but podcast, when I do become a teacher, I do think I'll create new podcasts for my students to learn with. It's not all about technology in this class, as a lot of people think, it being a computer class and whatnot. What I learned a lot from the class was a big deal is about being collaborative with group assignments, since in the education field you're going to have to work with fellow teachers and your students and be collaborative with all of them. So being collaborative with everyone helps a great deal. You get more used to the environment and it helps you out. It's just good for not even teaching but any field you go into. I didn't things I didn't have a great deal of fondness to in the class would have to be the C4T and C4K. Most of the teachers have never had replies back, and if they did, they're way too late. Like maybe if I look back now, there might be one or two tops, but I don't see myself learning much from either of these assignments. Not to say that they're bad per se, but I just didn't really enjoy them. Really, I enjoyed more of the collaborative projects more, since I think I learned more, and as a result, the work ended up being better. I think I will continue using Twitter. Twitter it's still new to me to a degree. I've tried to use it some. I'm not 100% on it. I've still learned. I would have never even tried this from this class, so this is all a result of EDM310 still. And I understand what it could help me with is similar with some of the Facebook pages being able to help you. And the PLN helps you be much more organized. I would definitely continue to try to keep my PLN and keep growing it. But I can't say that I'll never use anything in this class really. As an overall in the class, I think I've done fairly well. Almost all my assignments have been turned in on time, besides not even a handful of them. I've done them all to a degree that I think's very satisfactory. Besides, maybe you might count a few of them as not being as great at the beginning. But this is my third time taking this class, and I guess the third time is a charm because I've stuck with it. And actually, Like I said, the most important thing I might have learned from this class is time management, using my time a whole lot more wisely than I have been, and I think it's even grown to help me become a better student. So I'm glad I was actually pushed to do the whole 9 hours a lot of the weeks. And I'm glad I used the lab assistants because they're a world of help when it comes down to EDM310. And I found out that I really didn't dislike the class that much. I enjoyed a lot of the times I've had working collaboratively with everyone in the lab. So overall in EDM310, I think it's been a pretty good course for me, and I can't regret anything I've done so far in it. But everyone else at EDM310 in the future too, good luck and go to the lab.